Hello and welcome to today's lesson on animal cells. I want you to write down the date, the title, the LO, and I want you to try the starter task, please. So pause the video here and I will continue in 5 seconds. So number one, what are the 3 types of non-renewable energy? So we've got coal, oil, and natural gas. Number 2, what are the disadvantages of solar energy? So disadvantage is that it is expensive initially to set up and it can only really be used in certain places. Number 3, why should we be looking to increase the use of renewable energy? That is because renewable energy doesn't produce pollutants, so it's not harmful to the atmosphere, and we can carry on using it without it running out. So give yourself a mark out of 3, please. Okay, I want you to draw this along with me, please. So you need to draw a blob, and that's it. You just need to draw a blob. It doesn't need to be orange, but if you want to do it in colour, you can. But I wouldn't colour it in just yet because we need to draw things inside it. So this is the shape of an animal cell. It doesn't really have a shape, it's just kind of a blob. An animal cell is what we're made up of. We are made up of billions and billions and billions of cells. It's the smallest functional part of our body. Next, I want you to draw a circle within the blob. I want you to draw some little ovals with wiggly bits inside. And I want you to draw some dots, please. So if we got a cell from our body, most cells in our body would look like this. They would have more of each of these things. This is just a simple drawing, but if you took a skin cell and looked at it, it would look like this. If you took a cell from your heart and looked at it, it would look like this. If you took a cell from your muscle and looked at it, it would look like this. So we are going to label it now. So the very outside line, so don't point to the middle, point to the very outside line, that is called a cell membrane, and that controls what goes in and out. So in our cells, we want some things to go into it, but we don't want other things to go into it. So this controls what goes in and out. So I want you to label it and write it down, please. Okay, next, point to this circle. That is called a nucleus, and that contains the DNA. So DNA is what makes us us. So it tells us what we look like, if we've got any diseases. It basically it makes us us. Okay, so that is DNA. That is contained in the nucleus, which is this big blob here. Okay, point to one of these little dots, please. That is called a ribosome. So just one by itself is a ribosome. Lots of them are ribosomes. And they do something called protein synthesis. All synthesis means is that it makes it. So it makes protein. So I want you to write that as well, please. I want you to write that synthesis means that it makes it. Okay, point to one of these ovals. That is called a mitochondria, and that is the site of aerobic respiration. It provides energy to the cell. Without mitochondria, we'd have no energy. And the very last one is cytoplasm, and that is the site of chemical reactions. So these are the cells that make up our bodies, because as humans, we are animals. So our cells in our bodies look like this. And you need to know each of the parts. So I want you to make sure you've got it all labelled correctly, please. You need to know each of the parts and what they do. So what has this got to do with forensics? A wide variety of physical evidence can be collected at a scene that is deemed valuable for collection and investigation. This includes biological evidence. So bio means living. For example, blood, body fluids, hair, and other tissues. Even tiny amounts of these may be used to develop a lead. First, as part of CSI Summerhill, you need to know what cells look like, and that is what we have just gone through. We have an optional experiment here. So, if you can, try this at home. If you can't, don't worry about it. So you need a measuring cylinder or something similar, so you can just use a glass. It needs to be see-through though. You need water and food colouring, you need cooking oil and salt. Fill the measuring cylinder, colour the water, add a layer of oil to the top surface of the water, sprinkle salt on the top and see what happens. So this is just something for you to investigate if you can. Right, what I want you to do is I want you to connect the structure to its function, please. So pause the video here and I'll continue in 5 seconds. Right, number 1, nucleus contains DNA. Number 2, mitochondria supplies energy to the cell. Number 3, cytoplasm is the site of chemical reactions. Number 4, ribosomes make protein. And number 5, cell membrane controls what goes in and out of the cell. Give yourself a mark out of 5, please, and correct any that you got wrong. So, forensic scientists, they collect human cells left at a crime scene, perhaps from blood or saliva or hair. The forensic scientists then extract the DNA from the cells, analyze it, and make a DNA profile. So, see if you can remember what part of the cell has DNA in it. If you said nucleus, you are correct. So every human has unique DNA, except for identical twins who share the same DNA as they both came from the same initial cell. Forensic scientists use the unique nature of the DNA to help catch criminals. So the DNA in a skin cell on my hand will be exactly the same as the DNA of a skin cell on my face. Okay, so my DNA is in every cell in my body, and it's exactly the same, but it will be different to the cells in your body. It will be different to their DNA. Everybody has unique DNA. Okay, that is the end of today's lesson. I hope you all have a wonderful day.